The city of Humboldt is forging ahead with a new multi-million-dollar memorial to those who died in the 2018 Broncos bus crash. The city voted to apply to the federal and provincial governments, hoping they'd pick up over 70% of the costs. The city says it's likely to take between 3 to 4 months before they find out about the funding approval. Brady Ratzlaff, Global News. Saskatoon police were called to 3 separate schools on Friday afternoon after getting calls of a possible threat outside. Police say all lockdowns have been lifted, all students and staff were evacuated and are safe. Classes resumed after the threat was cleared. Police continue to investigate the situations. Brady Ratzlaff, Global News.
We were out pheasant hunting, and an old yard that has a lot of old discarded equipment and stuff in it. It kind of blended in. I never really noticed it at the time until I really focused on it. When we started to mention it to a few people knew about it, but nobody really thought any significance of it.
That plane was used to train Commonwealth soldiers during World War II, so it's a part of our history.
Where was the tree coming up through?
The tree came right up through...
Kind of right up in here?
Yeah, right up to the center of the cockpit.
Yeah.
This apparently has been the first one that's been found in quite a few years. You're talking about 40, 50 years. Oh man, that baby's strong.
It's pretty amazing that it's still there 80 years later.
And everybody is welcome. This is my history. This is also your history. Everybody that's a Canadian, this is their history, and they have a right to see it.
Family says with everyone giving support, even during this time of darkness, memories of Megan are shining through.
She's an extremely caring person. She would give her heart and soul to help anybody that asked. She definitely had a teasing sense of humor. She liked to kibitz and have fun. She liked to see people happy.
Megan was last seen at a convenience store on Diefenbaker Drive on September 19, 2020. Brian says now is the time to speak up so that this doesn't happen to anyone else in the future.
The silence is the thing that's keeping this happening over and over and over again. If you have information, for whatever reason you're hiding, if you're protecting yourself, it isn't productive. It's just so damaging.
Megan's family says they will not stop until Megan's remains are found.
We just want answers. We want her home. We need to, if we can't have her alive, we want her. We need to let her go walk with the ancestors appropriately.
Saskatoon police are reminding people if they have any information on this case or the whereabouts of those wanted to contact SPS or Crime Stoppers. Brady Ratzlaff, Global News.
All of us. And I don't recall a year when I've heard so many people talk about their feelings of disappointment in the budget and their feelings of being under a lot of pressure to solve some very difficult financial situations. So the
division adds, another issue is that critical tech infrastructure in all 63 of its schools will remain on hold. The Catholic School Division letter says rising utility and fuel costs are among the factors that will negatively affect services for students. Education Minister Dustin Duncan admits the boards face some tough decisions, but maintains the resources are in place for the division. He says it may be a challenge, but it can be done.
I know that school divisions are going to try very hard to try to keep any reductions of services away from the classrooms as much as possible. And I know that that's going to be the case. Obviously we'll see what that looks like.
Rocky Trainer is just like other kids. He loves getting outside, being active, and playing sports. But what makes him different, he has had 3 open heart surgeries. After applying to the Make-A-Wish Foundation, this 7-year-old got the thrill of a lifetime at a recent Toronto Blue Jays game.
It was kind of quiet actually until he got out there and he started raising his arms up and pumping up the crowd, and all of a sudden the sound just erupted. I don't think they expected that from a 7-year-old, so it was pretty cool to see. It was pretty loud? Yeah. That was pretty loud.
Rocky was born with hypoplastic left heart syndrome, or half a heart. It required 3 operations to recreate his heart. The Saskatoon Hilltops kicked off their 2022 season at SMF Field on Sunday as they welcomed the Winnipeg Rifles. The first quarter featured a lot of 2-and-outs for both sides. The points came from Rifles kicker Donovan Downing. He opened the score from 39 yards out, 3-0 Rifles. Followed by Connor Green's make from just inside the 50-yard line, one of 4 makes on the day for Green, 3-3. In the second quarter, it's the home side that finds the end zone first, as running back Boston Davidson takes the handoff from the 4-yard line, breaks through a handful of Rifles tacklers, and finds Pater, putting the Toppers up 10-3 after the good convert. The Rifles came back on the following drive. Quarterback Bryson McNeil takes the snap and launches a pass downfield. It bounces off a number of hands in the end zone before receiver Eric Adams comes down with it, exactly how you draw it up. The Blades were looking some revenge after losing to the Warriors last Wednesday in Moose Jaw by the score of 3-1. It's the Warriors who find the score sheet first, 4 minutes into the first period, as Robert Bacco takes the cross-crease pass and buries it into the open net, 1-0 Warriors. The Blades brought the physical play in the game as Charlie Wright sends Jaeger Fergus flying into the boards with a heavy hit. Shortly after, the Blades respond on the scoreboard as Connor Roulette corrals the cross-ice pass and wires it top shelf, 1-1 game. Less than 3 minutes later, it's Roulette again as he takes the pass in close to the goal mouth, makes a move, and slides it into the net, 2-1 Blades. Now in the second period, Roulette completes the hat trick on the power as he takes the feed and somehow finds some space over the Warriors' goaltender's shoulder, top shelf, 3-1 Blades. Over 4 minutes later in the second, Josh Pillar finds a loose puck in the slot, spins and fires it into the net, 4-1 Blades.
Positive and fantastic people out there that are willing to help us out when we've been through this tragedy, so it's heartwarming.
Last week, Global News told you about the couple after their house was ransacked and dog went missing. RCMP continue to investigate, but so far those responsible have not been caught, and their dog Chico remains missing.
The opportunity to get together with them, share a moment of happiness in this tough time that they're dealing with. It was a pleasure, and it makes us feel good.
So we definitely appreciate all of this.
After getting an extensive tour of the dressing room, the couple were also presented with a custom Montreal Canadiens check for $500, as well as a new golf shirt. The couple says they are grateful for the support and help during this unfortunate time.
Being Hab fans, that you would get a check with a Montreal Canadian logo on it that looks like, well, it comes from the Montreal Canadiens, from the Western Canada Montreal Canadiens fan club, but that was sweet. It was a little smile and a little laughter.
Foshu says the tour made their day and was a hockey fan's slice of heaven.
Pretty cool. It's as close as you can get to around here for Montreal stuff like this.
Zachariah says they want to thank the team for its support.
Gives us hope.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Huge thank you.
Brady Ratzlaff, Global News.